Is the economy stupid? Was a memorable line from 1992 United States presidential election. I was reading up on economics and terms like stagnation, inflation, recession, stagflation started giving me depression. It's actually not all that complicated. I thought let's do a case study, say like an immigrant in United States. I'm not talking about somebody who's kind, good looking, really nice. I'm not talking about me. I'm just kidding. Let's take say like a person from Bangladesh. He's moderately successful. And when I say him, there are millions of people like him. So he's doing okay in 2000, late 2019 in US, he's doing fine. So suddenly pandemic comes around and he gets a lot of subsistence money from the government, the stimulus money, maybe a little more than he needed. So he's now flush with cash. He invests some of it in places where he came from, say like Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, emerging economies. And he wants to buy stuff and the interest rates are extremely low. So he buys a laptop that he wouldn't have dreamt of buying before. But now the interest rate is low, he has cash, he can easily afford it. So he buys it. And millions of people like him order the same laptop. Now there's always supply and demand. Demand is touching the sky and supply is dwindling because of the manufacturing issues, the supply chain issues. So the supply keeps going down, demand keeps going up. That leads to inflation. The cost is going up. But the interest rates are still low. So people who shouldn't afford it are still affording it. Fed in United States were not quick enough to increase the interest rates to match the economy. Now, after 2 years or so, there is no end of pandemic in sight. The money, the assistance money that was coming in is drying up. This person doesn't have that much money. And now, Fed is beginning to increase the interest rate. Because the interest rates are going up, now paying the installments is not that easy. He doesn't have the money. And that creates two problems. First problem is he doesn't have the money as much now and the rates are high. So he thinks that if he waits a little bit to buy that laptop, the price of that laptop will go down. And if the laptop price goes down a little bit because there is not as much demand and the supply is low, and there are millions of people like that, now they think that the laptop price will go down even further. So they wait even further, and there is tremendous pressure on people who are already struggling to make ends meet and they don't get any help from the manufacturing side. At the same time, because the interest rates are now high, bonds, treasury bonds by United States are yielding more. So this person who's already feeling the crunch, why would he risk his money in emerging economy, say like in Bangladesh or Sri Lanka? He's going to pull that money out of those economies and he's going to put it into United States bond that will be steady and that are giving bigger yield. So these countries, emerging economies, are in further trouble and they cannot manufacture as much. So this supply demand goes out of whack. So this is the cycle that needs to be broken. Now this is a shifting paradigm. We can we can have any number of endings. This is an open-ended question. First thing we could do is just take a leap of faith, assume that the pandemic is over and just move on. Winston Churchill used to say that you really don't need a parachute to jump out of a plane. You need a parachute to jump out of the plane twice. So just take a leap of faith, assume it's over, move on, don't worry, whatever happens, happens, and I think it will mostly be okay. So the fear that the pandemic is going to lingering will go and the markets will start picking up. The second thing, which is essentially within our control, if this stupid war stops, this Ukraine thing, and if Russia opens the oil supply to Germany, it's almost 33% of Germany's oil supply, then Germany, as a manufacturing giant, can try and stem the tide. And the third thing is India. China had the manufacturing monopoly. Now India can step into those shoes and take over the manufacturing. India is English speaking, democratic, friendly, everybody likes them. So they need to fill this void. It is not difficult, it is not easy actually to do these things in a big democracy. Say you set up a big plant in Bharatpur and there are going to be some environmental cranks who will go to court and say that it harms the birds. And I shouldn't call them cranks. I understand the atmosphere, I understand the global warming, the science of all that. I totally agree and I respect it. And I also like the idea that we should leave the planet for our grandkids. But let me tell you a little bit of a medical fact. Okay? If you don't survive, you won't have kids. And if you won't have kids, you won't have grandkids. We are at the verge of economical wipeout. So we have to do something now. So the India has to bend something. You can't make an omelette without breaking some eggs. So India can step into this void and take over the manufacturing. So this is an economics case study with three possible outcomes, all good. This is not my subject, but I thought let's just chat. Dr. Ravi Godse.